The man, the myth, the legend is back at it again. Michael Burry, who has predicted 37 of the last 4 recessions here in the United States, is back to calling recessions out. And I believe this is the first time in a while. I don't believe I had heard from Michael Burry in at least 6 months calling for a recession. And this time, the subject of those cries perhaps of wolf are none other than Palantir and Nvidia. We get this from Twitter, from StockTwits on Twitter. The Big Short is back. Michael Burry's 13F filing shows that he's betting heavily against AI favorites. 66% of his entire portfolio is Palantir puts, and another 13.5% is Nvidia puts. That's nearly 80% of the Scion asset management betting against 2 of the biggest names in AI. What is a put? Michael Burry is basically putting a bet that the stocks of Palantir and Nvidia are going to go down. Now, part of me believes that he has a fetish for causing stock market panics, because that seems to be all he accurately predicts anymore. Is there some frothiness in the market? I would not say that there isn't. Is there an AI bubble? I would probably agree that there is, but I don't think that it's the same thing as the internet bubble, because I think that there is more sophistication here. I think that the internet bubble was more of a bet the farm on everything type of play. The AI bet is not that. There's a lot of money sloshing around in places that are not yet profitable, but they are places that do have the potential to make money, and there is a business plan. That was not the case with the internet bubble. Certainly that was not the case with where Michael Burry made his fame with the '08 financial crisis. But with AI, I think that there is a bubble, probably even in some of the big companies. I don't think it's Palantir. I don't think it's Nvidia. I think probably Meta is one of these frothier companies. But what Michael Burry is saying is not that Palantir and Nvidia are overvalued. What he's saying is essentially the entirety of the AI bubble is in these 2 names. That's it. Not Google, not Meta, not Amazon. The entirety of the AI bubble is these 2 names, which is, I think, a very rich statement when you're talking about 2 profitable companies. Are the valuations stretched out? Yeah, probably. But it looks like both companies are going to grow into them. So, just moving forward from this on this same idea from Michael Burry Stock Tracker. Palantir erases $42 billion from its market cap a day after Burry announces betting against it. You see here, $17.93 per share, 8.66%. That is down to 189.25. It's actually even worse than that. After the earnings call, I believe Palantir had gotten all the way up to $213 in aftermarket action. So from 213 down to 189, well, I guess that's about right, isn't it? I spoke too soon. I didn't do the math there. But that is a massive drop. $42 billion from the market cap. All because the guy who does this every 3 or 4 months, maybe every 6 months, maybe every 8 months when we're lucky, pipes up and says something is overvalued, that then drops for a month, before it recovers has done it again. That guy has done it again. So this isn't all we have here. This is causing quite the stir. From Amit, who is one of the daily Palantir type contributors on YouTube, Palantir CEO Alex Karp responds to new short sellers. They are in the business of being skeptical and wrong. We are in the business of giving an unfair advantage to American workers, American warfighters, and our investors. Now, here's the thing. This quote from Alex Karp. They're in the business of being skeptical and wrong. We're in the business of making money, baby. We're in the business of making our customers super productive, baby. It can sound a little pie in the sky. If you are, so the same type of people that are going to doubt Alex Karp here are the same type of people that listen to Elon Musk and say that he's selling vaporware. And I understand why it sounds that way, right? It sounds very new agey. It sounds very woo-woo. It sounds like one of these sort of these new self-help books. All you have to do is see it, believe it, and achieve it. That's how it sounds. Until you get down to the nuts and bolts of things. And Palantir is making their customers, I'm not even talking about the shareholders. Palantir is making their customers much more efficient. Palantir is making their customers so much money they are doubling down on the software. That is what AI is going, that is the next leg of AI, and Palantir is already there. The whole thing about the AI bubble is that it's not profitable, is that it's not leading efficiencies, is that it is not revolutionizing businesses. Palantir has been doing that. Palantir has been doing that for companies for a very long time. Palantir has been doing that for the United States military for a very long time. Palantir appears to be doing that in Ukraine and appears to have been doing that for quite a while as well. So this idea that it is Palantir where the bubble lies or where the bubble floats is a very strange one. So we have here Q3 highlights Amit gives to us. Revenues $1.18 billion when 1.09 was expected. Customer count 45% over last year. Adjusted free cash flow of $540 million. Now, $540 million free cash flow on a company that is worth what Palantir is worth is maybe not all that impressive. Until you consider this is a software business, until you consider this is an artificial intelligence software business. These things are cutting edge. They are only going to compound from here. Then we get this, I believe this is the last couple of tweets here. From Mike. Breaking. Palantir Tech Dr. Karp on CNBC. Brand new interview, brand new being one word, after the Q3 2025 earnings. Dr. Karp said this morning, this is market manipulation, implying Michael Moron Burry and Andrew Moron left. So he is right starting here. Shorting Palantir and Nvidia is shorting AI. Shorting the two fastest growing companies is batshit. Yes, I think that is absolutely true. This is a wild thing. This is a wild trick to be pulling right here. Look, maybe he'll be right? Maybe Palantir is vaporware. Maybe Nvidia has no next maybe Nvidia has no next trick. They're a this trick pony, whatever iteration of trick they're on. Maybe that is correct. I don't know how you make that bet. I sell options guy. I checked. He's got 10,000 followers, so he's not exactly a nobody. Palantir investors are absolutely cooked. I don't think many understand how absurd a 137x price to sales figure is on Palantir. Let's say you own a business, call it an HVAC business. You do $1 million in sales last year. Someone comes and says, hey, they're willing to pay you $137 million for your company. What's your next move? I know that this is done to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. That the, hey, you have an HVAC business is done to be cutesy, is done to make some type of funny point. It's absolutely asinine. You're not talking about HVAC. You have an HVAC business, someone has to come out and fix it. They get paid for fixing it. Great business. Absolutely stupendous business if you know how to do that sort of thing. It's not AI software. You're not going to get tons of government contracts for that HVAC business. You're going to get the contracts through a building for the government. Sure, that's true. You're going to absolutely get paid on those. Sure, that's true. If you make that HVAC 10% more deadly, you're not getting invited back. You make the American, as Karp calls them, war fighters 10% more deadly, now we're talking. You make a company 10% more profitable, you're earning another contract starting immediately. You make that HVAC work 10% better, they'll call you the next time it breaks. That's the high end. That's the upside on an HVAC business. Again, great business. You know how to work HVAC. Congratulations. You have a career. It's not AI software. It is not making companies more profitable than they thought that they could be. I know that it's simply sort of tongue-in-cheek, that it's one of these things where it's any business he could have named here. But AI software is not any business. Software is not any business. Artificial intelligence is not any business. You slap those two together and you're trying to compare it to an HVAC business? I don't understand the point you're even trying to make. Does an HVAC business scale the way that Palantir has been scaling? Does an HVAC business beat revenue estimates by hundreds of millions of dollars? So I am not particularly concerned with Michael Burry. I do think that, as the previous commenter up here had stated, who, I'm going to be honest, in the back of my mind, I thought that this comment was this comment. That's why I came at it so salty. But this is, like Alex Karp says, market manipulation. It appears that what Michael Burry really does is he makes one of these put positions, and I'm not, I'm saying from the outside it appears, right? To me, a layman, it appears that what Michael Burry does is he starts one of these positions, and then he spends a little bit of time figuring out how he can sell this as the next bubble. Find some talking points, makes the talking points, exposes his own position, causes a panic in the market, and I imagine somewhere along the way he will cover his put position. I do not believe that he is a true believer in most of the things that he says. I do not believe that he is a true believer in most of the panics he causes. I think he finds a frothy area where there is lots of paranoia, causes a panic, and covers his position. That, I think, is the play here.